Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Halwa Nadiyah Rosadi, class 2A. In this video, I want to tell you about the communication. The first, definition of communication and types of communication. Definition of communication. Communication is the process of sending or delivering messages from the communicator to the recipient of the message or the communicant between two or more people that occurs non-verbal or verbal, so that the intended message can be understood. According to Laswell, there are 6 elements of communication: who says what, with what channel, to whom, and with what effect. Who is the communicator? The communicator is the person conveying the message or information. Say what is the contents of the message you want to convey. In which channel, which is the media, starting from conventional media to new media. Conventional media consists of TV, radio, billboard, players, book, and magazines, which is now moving to streaming media and social media. Whom so, who the recipient, with what effect. What effect is produced from communication. So, based on the Laswell paradigm, communication is the process of conveying message by the communicator to the communicant through media that creates certain effects. Type of communications. The first type of communication based on how to convey messages or information. 1. Verbal communication is the use of language to transfer information directly and indirectly. 2. Nonverbal communication is the use of body language, gestures, writing, and facial expressions to convey information to others. The second types of communication based on behavior. 1. Formal communication. Communication that occurs between organizations or companies whose procedures have been regulated in the organizational structure. 2. Informal communication. Communication that occurs in a more relaxed atmosphere and tends not to be structured rigidly. The third is types of communication based on continuity. 1. Direct communication. A communication process carried out directly without the help of a third person, intermediary, or assisting communication media and is not limited by distance. 2. Indirect communication. A communication process that is carried out with the help of third parties or the help of communication mediators. The last is types of communication based on scope. 1. Internal communication can be divided into 3 types. 1. Vertical communications that occurs in the form of communication from leaders to members such as orders, reprimands, praise, and etc. 2. Horizontal communication that occurs within the scope of the organization or company between people who have equal positions. 3. Diagonal communications that occurs within the scope of the organization or company between people who have different positions in positions that are not aligned vertically. 2. External communications. Communication that occurs between an organization or company and people outside the organization or company. It tended to gain understanding, trust, assistance, and cooperation with the community. Communication with external parties can take the form of exhibitions, promotions, press conference, broadcast televisions, radio, and social service. The second, I will explain the most important support in communications. The most important communication support, in my opinion, is language mastery. Language is the most important thing in communication and is the basic means of communications. Communicators and communicants must master the same language so that the messages conveyed can be understood and get a good response. If the communicator and communicant do not master the same language, communication will take longer because they have to go through an intermediary who can connect the language between the communicator and the communicant. The third, I will interview one of the students about the barriers experienced in communication. Alright, here is one of the Polytechnic Negeri Padang students who will share her experience about barriers in communication. Before that, can you introduce yourself?
Sebelumnya, perkenalkan, nama saya Salsabila Syifatunisa dari jurusan Teknik Elektro, Prodi D3 Teknik Telekomunikasi, kelas 1A dengan NIM 2201052448.
What experience about barrier in communication?
Menurut pengalaman saya, hambatan dalam berkomunikasi ada dua. Yang pertama, secara offline. Bisa kita rasakan ketika kita sedang berbicara di tengah keramaian, maka lawan bicara kita tidak mendengarkan informasi yang kita sampaikan dengan jelas. Yang kedua, dapat kita rasakan secara online, yaitu ketika pembelajaran daring dengan Zoom dan Google Meet. Ketika jaringan atau sinyalnya bermasalah, maka informasi yang disampaikan akan terputus-putus dan tidak terdengar dengan jelas.
Okay, thank you Sipa for sharing your experience about barrier in communication. The last is the importance of critical thinking in communication and how to build it. Critical thinking is very important in communicating because critical thinking can make it easier for us to convey messages or information, and the communicant can properly digest the message conveyed without any misunderstanding. 4 ways to build critical thinking ability. 1. Don't swallow information raw. 2. Ask fundamental questions. 3. Read more books. And 4. Hold small discussion with friends. Okay guys, that's all I can explain about communication. Thank you for the attention. Bye bye.